So you want to move to San Antonio, Texas? In this video, we're going to take you through the process of home buying and selling, but this video is for the buyers.
So we're going to go through the steps. We've already done a video specifically on Texas home buying, but this is just a general video concerning the steps involved in buying a home, what steps you need to go to. So we're going to get started on that list right now. If this is your first time in our channel, welcome. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell. You'll be the first to receive notifications of upcoming videos and changes in the market in the San Antonio area.
Guys, we're Brian and Brenda Jones, the proud owners of Lone Star Home Realty. We get calls from people just like you every day. So whether you move in 9 days, 9 months, or 6 months, it doesn't matter. Give us a call. We're more than happy to help you any way we can.
All our information is in the box below. You can call us, text us, email us, or even sign up for a Zoom. We would love to chat and help you make a smooth move to the San Antonio area. Okay, let's start talking about the home buying process.
Let's do it.
So, step number 1, get pre-approved.
That's so vital, guys. You have to get pre-approved so you know what you're eligible for. Can you buy a $500,000 house? Or can you only buy a $200,000 house?
Makes a huge difference when you're going through all of the process of buying. So there's several things that go into getting pre-approved. One of them is your credit score. Very, very, very important. Most lenders want the minimum credit score to be 620, and depending on your credit score will depend on your interest rate.
Yep.
Well, you have the set interest rate, but it definitely does impact your interest rate.
Well, it's definitely going to be a higher interest rate if you have a lower credit score. So the difference between a high credit score and the high 7s or low 800s,
big difference,
versus 620 or less, it's gonna be painful. So make sure you get your credit score where it needs to be, and you'll get the right interest rate for you.
And if you have a lower interest rate and you need help or you want help, please contact us. We have lenders that are great at working with you and helping you go step by step in order to get your credit score higher to help you on that pre-approval. So we definitely have help for you. Just reach out to us, comment below, let us know. We'll be happy to help you with that.
Another issue, and this one kind of depends on the loan product, but the lender's also going to be looking at the DTI.
What is the DTI, Bri?
Debt to income ratio. And so if you have a high DTI, you're not going to get a loan.
No. So you definitely want to remember, and closing accounts, not always a good thing. So again, talk to a lender.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions or any concerns, because a lot of times they're going to be like, oh no, why did you close that line? It would have helped you out in the long run. So talk to a lender. They're definitely going to be looking at your income compared to how much debt you have, what kind of debt it is. They look at all of those details in order to determine your debt to income ratio.
Next item is down payments. So if you're buying a home, you're going to have a down payment unless you're a USDA buyer or a VA buyer. Those are 100% without down payment.
No.
However, if you're a conventional or a FHA, you're going to have at least a 3.5% to 5% interest rate, or a down payment you're going to have to come up with for the closing.
So that's a lot of cash
Could be a lot of cash.
Bring to the table. So take your time, get your interest, your credit score. We are just like getting interest rate and credit scores messed up today. Get your credit score in line, make sure you're saving up your cash, watch what your debt is, all of that before you start this process. Now, once you get approved, this is very, very, very vitally important.
Listen closely.
Listen closely. Once you get pre-approved by a lender and we start this process, do not go spend a lot of money. Don't go have a new credit card. Don't go get a new car. Don't quit your job. Don't do anything in your life that's going to change your income and your debt, because you're going to get to the end and then they're not going to get you approved. So word of wisdom, please don't do anything.
Just don't do
Don't
it.
buy new furniture. Don't buy
No.
new washer and dryer. Just don't do it.
Just wait until after you close. So the next, you know, and then once you're pre-approved and like Brenda said, you're set. You're not gonna buy anything else on credit for at least 30 days, unless you've got a super lender that can get it done in less than 30 days. Then the next step is searching for your dream home.
Yay! That's where the fun starts.
Shopping.
We get to go shopping.
But we're gonna go shopping with some parameters. We're not, if you can only afford a $400,000 house, we're not going to send you $450,000 or $500,000 houses to look at.
Right.
And you shouldn't be looking at them online either.
No. Now, there is some wiggle room depending on the type of market you're in, if it's a buyer or a seller's market. If you are in a seller's market, then you have a little more negotiation room as the buyer, and we can generally go a little bit higher than that because we know we're going to negotiate it down. But typically speaking, we are going to stay very close to the top of that range because you can't go above that and get pre-approved. And we'd hate for you to walk into a $500,000 house and you fall in love with it.
I love it. It's great. I want this house. I want this house.
Sorry, you can't have it. So that's the worst. Okay, so when we're starting to shop,
how many bedrooms do you need?
Yeah, how many bedrooms? And this is where we really get into the nitty-gritty with you, is because we are trying to determine your wants versus your needs. Those are really important things to know when you're looking for a home. So you may need 3 bedrooms, but you want 4 bedrooms. Or you may need a space with an office, or for an office, you really need it, so it's not a want. You may want a pool in the backyard. So these are all things that we will sit down before we start giving you homes to start looking at and kind of set you up on searches, is what do you want versus what do you need.
So number of bedrooms, how big the backyard needs to be.
Single story,
or 2-story, condo, garden home. I mean, there's all kinds of different home styles out here, guys.
Yeah.
So
HOA or no HOA, those are huge for a lot of people. So
what's your preferred location?
Yeah.
And what are the schools like?
Yeah. Is that important to you? Those are all things that you, before you start this process, you really need to sit down and discuss it with whomever, you or anyone who's buying it with you, and make sure you're on the same page on what your wants versus your needs are.
So we give you all this. We go looking at homes and giving you the lowdown on the homes. And guys, when we show homes, it's a little bit different than a lot of other agents. What we do is very different. We go through it with the eyes of an inspector, and the eyes of the buyer, because we have no emotional investment in this property at all. So we're going to look at it very objectively. We're going to tell you it needs a roof. We're going to tell you it needs a new water heater. We're going to tell you it needs new paint. We're going to tell you it's got a cracked foundation, or we suspect it might have foundation issues.
Or even cracks in the wall, or things that look off, or I mean, we're very picky when we're walking through homes, to make sure that you as the buyer are seeing the worst that we can see without being an inspector and diving deep into it. Right.
Okay, so we found the right house.
Yay!
And it does.
And you're so excited.
It's not horrible.
No, it's good.
It's beautiful.
It's perfect
for you. It's beautiful. It's perfect for you. Well, that's just awesome, because now we can make an offer. And now you got to work with your agent, or us.
That's when Brian really gets to work.
And figure out what the offer is going to be.
There's a lot of different pieces too that go into the offer, not just the price that you're offering, right?
Right.
I mean, we're talking about what kind of loan are we going to use? We're talking about contingencies. Do you have a house that needs to be sold?
Who's going to pay for the title insurance or the survey?
Or the survey, is there one out
needed.
there? Yeah. So there's a lot of different pieces. What else am I thinking that I can't, not thinking that goes into the contract? There's so many different little pieces.
Well, are you gonna ask for a 2-1 buy down? I mean, there's all kinds of different things.
Even for them just to contribute to to the sales price, or they left the refrigerator and you're like, man, I really could use that refrigerator, and we're going to throw that into the offer. So there's all kinds of detailed pieces that go into the offer that Brian really works detailed on that.
And then the other thing is the earnest money deposit. A lot of people were, what's an earnest money deposit? It basically means that you earnestly want to buy this house. And so you're going to put down typically at least 1% of the purchase price. So on a $500,000 house, you're going to put $5,000 down, for example. And that's got to be delivered within 3 days of the contract being signed. So,
and that goes to the title company.
That goes to the title company.
It doesn't go to the seller. It goes to the title company.
It doesn't go to us either.
No, it goes to the title company. And also an option fee is in there. It's kind of tied in with that. That you're paying X amount of dollars.
Usually it's a nominal amount, maybe $100,
$100
a couple $100.
To give you time to really check the house out, get it inspected, make sure that this is right, measure the rooms, whatever else you need, get somebody in there to give you an estimate on flooring or painting or whatever you're thinking you're going to need when you get into that house.
So the next step, once we've all come to terms and we've all decided that this is what we want to do, the buyer and the seller meet and they're at the terms and everybody's in agreement and everybody's signed
it all, and
we have what's called an executory account or executory contract. And so everybody signed it. Now the next thing we got to do is make sure that earnest money gets to the title company like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And the next thing is inspections. So the inspections, guys, it can take a shape, many different things. You could have a home inspector come and do a colonoscopy on the house, which is what we recommend.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about the roof, you could hire a roofer to come out and give you an idea of what kind of life is left on it. If there's a possible foundation issue, maybe you want to spend $250 for engineering.
The sound of freedom in Shirts, Texas, right there.
Maybe you want to get an engineering report on the foundation, just to put your mind at ease. But guys, during this option period, you still have the opportunity to back out, and the only thing you're losing is your option fee. So you want to make sure that
which
you
is
do
that nominal $100, $200 or so.
But
you get your earnest money back.
You get your earnest money back if you walk out before then.
So comment below, have you ever gone through an inspection on a house you're under contract with?
Yeah.
And you had an inspection done and you were just like, oh, this is a lot deeper than what I'm willing to do or I want to do. So comment below and let us know if you've ever had to back out of a contract because of the inspection. That would be interesting to see.
Or what's the worst thing that you've encountered on an inspection report?
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one. That's a great one, y'all.
And so the inspection comes back. They've got pictures and pages of different stuff that they found and what their findings are. Guys, they're going to call out everything they have to call out because they have to. That's their job. And they're licensed by the state. So that's what they're required to do is give you the lowdown on the house. So that means if the GFCI plugs, ground fault circuit interrupter plugs don't work, they have to call it out. If they're not up to code, they have to call it out. So
that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it or that it has to be fixed. They have to call it out legally. So that's where your agent or the inspector is going to say these. Normally they're going to highlight the top ones that are the major ones that they would discuss.
Usually safety issues.
Yeah, normally there's safety issues, but you know, and then when you sit down with your agent or us, we'll sit there and go over them and say, okay, what are you thinking? This is kind of how we would approach the second step of the negotiation, which is going back and asking the seller to fix those issues or contribute finances towards that or lower the price.
Right. So after the home inspection and we go through the negotiation process with the seller, or we don't ask for anything because the house is so perfect.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. So the next step is we are now out of the option period and your earnest money is at risk.
Yep.
There's still ways to get out, but your earnest money is more at risk now.
You're a lot more locked in at this point in time.
And by this time, the lender has probably already ordered the appraisal of the home. And now the appraisal is another independent party, has no connection to the lender, has no connection to the realtor. us. They are hired completely arm's length, and they come in and they do a evaluation. They come up with an opinion of value on the home, and so, or on the property. And so if we agreed to a $300,000 as the sales price, but the comparable properties in the area and the condition of the home don't support that, he may come back with 275, or she might come back and say, you know what, it's worth more than 300, but I'll give you the 300. That's where you actually want to be.
Yeah.
You want to have instant equity, which is what that's called.
Yeah.
But the appraisal process,
and that's a whole new negotiation too. If the appraiser comes back and it's lower than the contracted price, then it goes back to negotiation table, because we're at a standstill. The lender will not lend anything above the appraised value. And that's where you decide, I've got the cash, I love this home, I'm willing to pay above the appraisal cash out there, or walk away completely and say, this isn't going to happen, or the seller can contribute all of it, or y'all can split it, however it works out. So there's a lot of different options, but just know, if the appraisal comes in low, there is a way to negotiate through that.
So we're done with the appraisal. We met value, or we didn't meet value. So we've got.
Let's say we met value. Yay!
We met value. Now the lender is doing their work. The title company is doing their work. They're actually going to go through the underwriting process. And you're thinking, well, wait a minute! I already just gave all these documents to my lender. What's the underwriter doing? The underwriter's taking those documents and verifying that they're real. So they're going to be calling your employer. They're going to be calling your bank. They're going to be doing their own colonoscopy on your financial status.
This is why we're saying don't buy anything, because they will find it.
And not only that, guys, they're going to do this twice.
Yeah.
Once to approve the loan, and then they're going to do it once again right before we close, like the day before they close.
So don't get frustrated when your lender's like, hey, you know those check stubs and you're confirming your employment, I need those again. And you're like, I already gave them to you. That's to make sure you are still employed at the same place. You haven't had any changes, because like I said, and if you want to quit your job, don't do it until after we have funded the home, not even closing. Closing and funding are two different things, which we'll discuss in a second. But don't make any changes. Don't buy new furniture. Don't buy a dishwasher or washing machine, anything like that, until we are funded. Because they will be checking on it completely, like he said, twice.
So guys, we found the right house. We went through the inspection process. The appraisal's done. We met value. The underwriter's doing their work. Title company's doing their work, making sure there's nothing wrong with the title. Underwriters are doing their job to make sure that what you presented is accurate. Okay, so once the loan is closed, everybody's signed the final documents, and it's funded, guess what? It's yours.
Yeah, but let's take a step backwards. So before that, we have closing. So let's say before it's yours. You go, what does closing mean? That means typically your agent and the title company, and you have to go to the title company. Sometimes we can do it remotely. They can send a notary out to you to sign documents. But please make sure you bring a check, because you're going to probably owe a lot on your earnest money and closing cost. Your closing costs.
And your driver's license.
And your driver's license, because they will confirm your identity before they let you sign anything. So once we've signed everything, depending on the loan product, it could be this many little papers, or it could be that many papers. So it all depends.
And if you're doing cash, that's a whole different process.
Oh yeah, but cash is super easy. But then we'll sign everything. It all goes from title company back to the lender. The lender confirms and verifies everything that they need, and then the agents and the title company will be notified that it has been funded. That's when you own the house. After you have funded, we will get the keys to you.
Now you can go buy the car.
Now you can go buy whatever you want to.
You can go buy the furniture. You can quit your job. You can do whatever you want to do.
Just remember, you have to still pay the mortgage. So don't quit your job unless you have something else in line.
You no pay, you no stay.
And they will tell you that multiple times during closing.
Yes, they will.
So,
All right. So
anything else?
I think that pretty much nails down the closing or the home buying process for the buyer. So
In
stay
another
tuned.
video, we're going to do the seller. So
Yes.
we'll walk through the same process with the seller. So stay tuned for that.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching to the end and putting up with our sound of freedom and
lawns, the
landscapers and everything else. We really happy that you stayed to the end. Comment below and let us know what you thought about this. And if there's anything else you would like us to do a video on, we're more than happy to try and make it work for you.
Make sure you subscribe and tap the bell. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.